Hello, everyone. Welcome to LexTalk World Talk Show, presented by Clickaway Creators. Today, we have Mr. Saurabh Bagaria, who regularly practiced before the Honorable Calcutta High Court. He also appeared before Customs, Excise and Service Tax Appellate Tribunal, Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, West Bengal Taxation Tribunal, and other quasi-judicial forums. Over the years, he has been able to achieve considerable market outreach with clients from various sectors such as FMCG, iron, cement and steel, and so on. Several cases argued by him have been reported in leading law reports throughout the country. So, without any ado, let me introduce you to Saurabh. Hello, Saurabh. How are you?
Hello, Sagar. Thank you for introducing me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for asking, Saurabh.
Thank you.
All right. So I guess I have tried to explain, in bits and pieces about you. But now it would be great if our viewers can hear something about you in your own words. So let me start by asking you. It would be great if you can brief us about your journey as a legal professional so far.
Yes, I'll definitely do. Thank you. So I am basically from Kolkata, and after having completed my schooling from Don Bosco Park Circus here in Kolkata, I pursued my LL.B degree from Pune University in Pune. And after having completed my law degree from Pune, I pursued my master's in law from University of Warwick in UK. That was in international economic law. And after finishing the studies and the academic part gets over with my completion of my LL.M degree, I moved back to India and straight away dived into tax litigation. Litigation always had interested me, but nowadays, very few students, law graduates, take up to litigation. One of the primary reasons is that the gestation period in litigation is pretty high, especially with niche areas like tax litigation. The gestation period is higher. Tax litigation, as you know, tax is a vast subject. You have direct taxes and indirect taxes. Direct taxes include income tax and allied laws like Prevention of Money Laundering, Benami Property Act, and Black Money Act. The indirect taxes include the latest GST, and the earlier versions included excise, customs, service tax, sales tax, VAT, and so on and so forth. So the entire ambit of tax laws is really huge. So once you get involved in tax litigation, you hardly have any time to do any other branch of law. But this branch of law really interests me, so I am totally into it. I also am involved with budget discussions annually after the presentation of the budget.
Well, that's wonderful. So I guess then you are sort of a critic. I mean, not a critic, but a reviewer for the budget that we get every year.
Hopefully, yes.
Wonderful. And on a scale of 10, I mean, like, what do you think? How successful GST implementation was or is?
See, I would tell you that the GST implementation has been a big success story as such.
Mhm.
No client of mine, big or small, it would be a multinational corporation or a small dealer, has come to me and said that I'm not happy with GST.
Mhm.
Most of them are happy with GST. But having said that, there are certain teething issues regarding implementation and computerization of the softwares. Those are, I think, so teething issues which will get sorted out with time. But as such, the law is a very good law, and it has made life much simpler for the assessees.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you explain both sides of the coin because it's always pros and cons at the same time,
Yes.
and everything gets better by time and innovation. So yeah, that's really
Yes.
wonderful. Uh, Moving on, sort of, you have been practicing since quite long. So tell us about your most memorable case and what are your key takeaways from there.
Okay, so there have been so many cases, but if you have to choose one, I would choose there was this excise duty demand on the jute bags. So this demand affected the entire jute industry, most of which is located in the eastern part, that is Bengal, because of the geographical location. And there was a demand of aggregating to around 1,000 crores on the entire industry. Each jute mill was saddled with a demand of around 100 to 150 crores. So I got a matter. I really researched well in that matter, and taking it forward, by the end of the day, I had at least 20 to 25 jute mills briefing me in the matter. And we had a very detailed arguments in the tribunal, around 3 days of arguments. Couple of seniors were briefed. They argued, I too got a chance, and I argued too. And we were feeling very positive. But after the arguments, when the judgment was reserved, and after a couple of months when the judgment was delivered, we lost. So that was quite a surprise and a setback. We had to again go back to the drawing board and analyze the judgment of the Honorable Tribunal as to which of the findings can be challenged before the Honorable Supreme Court. We took it further. We filed a civil appeal before the Supreme Court. The civil appeal got admitted. And after a couple of years, when the final hearing took place, then again we briefed a couple of seniors, and the argument went on for 2 or 3 days before the Honorable Supreme Court. And finally, we won. So this is one case which I have been involved from scratch till the end. In litigation, they say that you never see the end in litigation of a case. But this was a very fortunate journey for me in this case, because I was involved in these jute matters right from the very beginning. And having won at the end, there were very good learning experience. The key takeaways from this case was, first and the foremost is good research. For any tax matter, or for that matter for any case, a good research is very important. Secondly would be good drafting skills. Drafting is one area which is highly neglected. And as you go higher in the hierarchy of court, the case is, won or lost because of bad drafting. So good drafting becomes very important in a case. So these are two key aspects. Was a key takeaways from this case was good research and good drafting really helps you in a matter. Third would be, I would say, patience. Sometimes, when we lost before the tribunal, it was a big surprise and a setback. But you never know the ways of the court. The judgment might go in your favor or it may go against you. But you have to have patience, and you have to believe in yourself and your research, and take it forward from there. And at the end of the day, you feel so happy when the client comes back to you acknowledging your effort. That makes your day.
No, exactly. It's about value creation. It's about ethics,
Yes.
and it's also about, you said, your drafting, research, and perseverance. I mean, patience. Everything is
Right.
just important for every practitioner. And if our viewers are listening, I mean, if they're listening to this particular session, this particular question, they will learn a lot of things from your personal experience. I can bet on it.
Yes.
That's wonderful. And we are all, talking about law, tax, and tax. So, how do you look at international tax laws in 2021, and how it's going to change 5 years down the line?
So to answer that question, if we just break down direct taxes and indirect taxes and take it separately, with direct taxes, I would see in future and near future the interplay between domestic taxation and international arbitration treaties. With a spate of couple of high profile cases in which we have seen recently, where the assessees have taken their domestic tax disputes and tried to get it sorted out or challenged it using international arbitration treaties and mechanisms thereunder. So the interplay between the tax laws and international arbitration agreements would be one avenue to look forward as we go further. Secondly would be the interplay between two or three various tax related legislations to curb black money. Those would be Prevention of Money Laundering Act, Benami Property Act, and Money Laundering Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So these enactments have been enacted by our country, but similar enactments have also been enacted by other countries. So going forward in the international tax arena, we would see a spate of litigation to curb the use of black money and tax evasion. Now moving on to the indirect taxes, with this pandemic situation, one may see a kind of a rate war in customs duties. There would be some, you will say, some avenue for protectionist ideologies coming into play with the pandemic. considering the pandemic has in the past 1.5 years really has made a bad impact on the economic positions of the countries. So there may be some kind of rate wars in respect of customs duties. And in our country, one thing which we really need to closely watch is the evolution of the Goods and Services Tax Act. So, because this is a mammoth legislation, it subsumes mostly all indirect taxation, all relevant and important indirect taxes have been subsumed by the GST. So, the evolution of GST in the coming 5 to 10 years would be something to look forward to.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Even you
Yes.
discussed this about GST, in a pretty small question that I asked in between. That's wonderful. And what I also believe that tax laws also differ in terms of organized and unorganized sector, because they both have different impact on respective GDP of a country. Like
Yes.
in India, it's I guess 60-40 ratio or 50-50 ratio. I'm not sure about it. That's how
Uh,
demonetization affected it. We didn't really realize what happened, but we realized it when the data of unorganized sector came out, and it was drastic.
Yes,
So,
and when the demonetization took place, during the same time period, these laws like Prevention of Money Laundering and Benami Property Act had come into play, and the government became very aggressive during this time with these enactments. So now we are seeing cases coming under these enactments, uh, that the government is now initiating proceedings, and with this demonetization thing, what the government was also doing was that they were having huge data regarding the movement of money from one bank account to another.
another one.
And they have patiently and diligently scrutinize and analyze those data, and now they are starting to initiate proceedings under various tax legislations taking use of those data.
Hmm.
So this
That's
also, this is a bigger game plan to curb the tax evasion.
exactly, no, exactly, and
Yes.
who knows better than you? That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Um, on the go, the last thing that I would have understand here, we have talked about values, we have talked about ethics and everything. So, what are the three core values that you truly believe in?
Three core values. First and the foremost, as cliche as it may sound, I would say honesty and integrity. See, this becomes, the bedrock of any advocate's stature in the court. Once there is even an iota of doubt on your honesty or integrity, your entire decades of reputation gets washed away in one line or one moment. So this these are the two most important values, and one should take all it takes to guard these values and preserve them. Second, I would say hard work and smart work. You see, in litigation, you have to sometimes make decisions on your foot, on the spur of the moment. So the hard work is what you have toiled in your chamber, where you have done your research and drafting. And the smart work is when, with that hard work behind you, you make smart decisions on the foot, on the spur of the moment. And third, I would say, is an eagerness to learn, a learning approach. I have seen tags, doyens in the bar, aged lawyers with a multitude of experience at their age, with their knowledge, also are so humble and so eager to learn new things. So, just meeting them or having a conversation with them, you feel that, your knowledge is nothing. But once you meet them, you get such positive vibes that, it's not that one can have an I know all kind of an attitude. One has to always have an eagerness to learn more and learn new things with a positive attitude. So these are the three core values I would advocate for any lawyer.
That's very rightly said. Just to add on to this, there's an I know better syndrome. So one should not have that. So one should not have
Yes,
an
I
I
know
know better
better
syndrome.
or I know all
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
syndrome doesn't work
Exactly. It
and
doesn't
doesn't
work
help
anywhere.
anyone.
It doesn't work
Yes.
anywhere, let it be any industry. But That's really
Yes.
wonderful. That's been a great discussion that we have. Any closing comment that you want to give on this?
Closing comments, I would just like to say a big thank you to you and ClickAway creators. And I would say let us make an concerted effort to, professionally approach our own professions and be dedicated to our work. And we shall come over this pandemic situation very soon.
For sure, nothing lasts forever, and I hope same goes for
Yes.
COVID. Great, Saurabh. I would say thank you so much for sharing such great insights
Thank you.
with
Thank
us.
you very much.
The pleasure is all ours, and we look forward to having a chat with you again in the future on some
Yes.
other trending topics in the
I would
international
love
legal
to.
industry.
I would love to do that. Thank you.
We too. And for our viewers, if you like this chat with Mr. Bagaria, please like, share, and also subscribe to ClickAway Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming from industry leaders. This is Sagar for Let's Talk World, signing off.